So this is my plum harvest for today. I've still got loads more plums on the trees, and my apple trees are looking superb as well, really full, and I can't wait to have some of the apples this year. Hi everyone, my name's Annette and welcome to Cottoverdi. Welcome to another one of my weekly vlogs where I film various snippets during the week to let you see what we're getting up to in order to maintain this garden here, which I think is gorgeous, full of flowers, and I just film various things during the week to show you what we're doing. Maybe it will give you ideas about what you should be doing in your garden at the moment, or maybe you'll spot some plants that you'd like to put in your garden. We have a long weekend here in the UK this weekend, and I have roped Richard in today to helping me take down the sweet peas. We're finally taking it down. I kind of just left them there because they're not in the way, but they do look a bit miserable and dead in amongst all these gorgeous cosmos and dahlias. I think it's time to get rid of the brown stuff and put it on the compost, and I'm hoping it's going to be fairly easy, but because it's going to be quite messy, Richard said he'll do it for me. So let's take the sweet peas down. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut off most of the twine. Because we've used jute twine, it can actually just go on the compost, but I think the less that goes on the compost, the easier it will decompose. So I'm going to sort of cut it down to there, and then I'll get Richard to rip the sweet peas out for me. I'm also getting Richard to run some string to support this self-seeded Verbena bonariensis. I've also got some Panicum frosted explosion, and those pink snapdragons are self-seeded, and this is all because we used some of our homemade compost in these beds before we put the other compost on top. And so loads of things have grown, it's amazing. I've also got a bells of Ireland around the other side, I'll show you in a second. The other thing I'm going to get Richard to help me with today, I could possibly manage it on my own, but I guess I lack confidence. So Richard's going to help me, and then if I think I can do some myself, I certainly will. We are going to make some plant supports out of steel poles. And I saw Monty Don on Gardener's World doing this a few years ago, and I always thought, well, that would be a really inexpensive way to create lots of plant supports because we need so many. And if you've been following my channel this year, then you'll know that we planted absolutely loads of dahlias and annuals and we didn't support anything, so loads of them have fallen over, and I think this is a really good opportunity for us to try and remedy that, but also just to have a go at making these plant supports. Now, I did actually buy these poles a few years ago and they've just been sitting in the garden waiting to be used, which is slightly embarrassing, but probably a common problem for a lot of us, that we think we're going to have time to do something and then it just doesn't become a priority. Anyway, it's a priority today and I'm going to show you how we do it, but I have to say that we are borrowing this idea from Monty Don from a Gardener's World programme a few years ago. So curve it round a flower pot until you've made an arch, and then stand on it where the bend is and bend it upwards. and try to make both sides exactly even. And there you have a ready-made plant support that cost way less than buying it from a store. And then for smaller ones, just use a smaller bucket and do exactly the same thing. Richard has done an amazing job. So I'll look up online to see what I ordered, because I cannot remember what I ordered, but I followed what Monty said to order. So I'll look it up online and I'll put that up on the screen so you can see what I ordered to create these. And then we'll pop some in the ground now so you can see that they work just like any other plant support. They will rust more over time, so they will get that sort of rustic look that you can find these days in stores. And I think they're going to be brilliant. I cannot believe it's taken us so many years to do this when it really wasn't a particularly difficult job. I actually didn't find it difficult to bend them at all. So I was able to bend them around the pot quite easily. I found it a bit awkward trying to do the bit where you put your foot on it and bend it up, because it was kind of swinging around. I think it was just too big for me. My arm span's not as big as Richard's, but I actually let him do them all because I was kind of messing it up and I was making one side a bit longer than the other. I mean, I think he's done that a few times, but I was being quite inaccurate with where half was. And we could have marked the poles and that would have made it a lot easier, but we didn't do that. But certainly mark the poles if you want to get yours to be more accurate. It really wouldn't be hard to just scratch them a bit, you know, get a tape measure out and scratch them. It would be fine. So we're going to prop the status up with a short one. This enormous one here. This is Mango Madness, and that's also fallen over. So we're going to use a medium one to prop these up, hopefully. And I've got it planted next to a dahlia called Palmaros. These plant supports on the yarrow here are ones that I bought that look exactly like the ones we're putting in. I hope you've had fun with us as we tackled these sort of everyday tasks that keep the garden ticking along. I am going to be doing lots of dahlia tours in the very near future, and so do subscribe to my channel if you'd like to see those. And if there's anything in particular you'd like to see, then let me know in the comments below and I'll try and accommodate people's requests. Anyway, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all next time.